It's actually 6 p.m. At this time, I would like to call the Hanover Borough Council Conditional Use Decisional Hearing for Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 meeting to order. Request that we start by standing and reciting in unison the Pledge of Allegiance, following that with a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated. With the assistance of the able Secretary Felix, we will call the roll.
Mr. Fuentes?
Here.
Mrs. Funk?
Here.
Mrs. Greenholt?
Here.
Mr. Greenholt?
Here.
Mr. Hegberg?
Here.
Mr. Kress? Mr. Lockard?
Here.
Mr. Ricart?
Here.
Mr. Rowland?
Here.
Dr. Rupp?
Here.
Solicitor Schultes?
Here.
Mayor Whitman?
Here.
Secretary Felix, we have a quorum.
Before I pass it off to Solicitor Schultes for the next portion of the statement of the meeting, I will note for the record that he is not with us this evening in person, but is be joining us electronically via our Zoom mechanism. Solicitor Schultes, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, President Ricart. My apologies to Borough Council for not being able to be there. Tonight is the night set for a public decisional hearing regarding an application filed by 213 Primrose LLC for a conditional use approval for a short-term rental pursuant to section 140-302B of the zoning ordinance of the Borough of Hanover for properties located at 209 and 213 Primrose Lane, which properties are located in the lower density R1 and higher density R5 zoning districts. Tonight's hearing was advertised in the Hanover Evening Sun on May 10 and May 17. Notice was provided to the applicant of tonight's hearing by mail on May 20, 2022, and notice to the neighboring property owners was also made by mail on May 20, 2022, as well as the one party, Mr. Curiosity. Properties were posted on May 23rd. Copies of the proof of publication, notices, and posting photographs will be made part of the record unless there is an objection from either the applicant or the party. So I would ask if either would indicate whether they have any objection to making these notices part of the hearing for tonight.
No objection.
Is Mr. Curiosity there?
He is.
Does he have any objection?
No.
Pete, did you hear?
Yes.
Did you hear that?
He said no.
Yes.
You have no objections?
No.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, President Ricart. It's back to you.
At this time, we will open up the floor for in-room public comment. Bear in mind, you can come to speak to council on a number of issues, not just this one. Please be apprised that the council will be listening this evening and not necessarily commenting in return. This time, please come forward if you'd like to address council. Seeing no one offering to do so in the room, I'll ask community media to help open up our channel so we can do that electronically.
Solicitor Schultes are on the Zoom this evening.
I assume he does not have public comment. Okay. At this point in time, we will close the public comment portion of the meeting and move down the agenda to item 6, which the chair hereby requests a motion for printed agenda item 6.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 23rd and April 18th, 2002, conditional use hearings.
Thank you, Councilor Rupp. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor of approval of said minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Is there a wish to do business by formal motion on agenda item 7?
I ask for consideration of a motion to approve the application for a continual use hearing by 213 Primrose LLC for conditional use approval for short-term rental pursuant to Section 140-302B of the Hanover Borough zoning ordinance number 2310 for properties located at 209 and 213 Primrose Lane, Hanover Borough, York County, PA, located in a lower density residential R1 zoning district, and to adopt the written decision of Borough Council relating thereto.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
President Ricard?
Yes, sir?
President Ricard? The motion, if it's going to be properly moved, needs to follow the format of the motion that I provided Dory earlier today.
Okay. So, add 2. Solicitor Schultz, to read the full 2 pages.
Yeah, so, yes, if you would, please.
Dr. Rupp, I
Okay.
assume you want to amend
I do
your
know how to
motion?
read, so, okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Consideration of a motion to adopt the written decision of Borough Council and to approve 213 Primrose LLC's application for conditional use approval for short-term
Or
rental.
could you speak a little clearer on, we can't, it's
sorry.
difficult hearing.
And slow down a little bit when you're reading.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
People do that.
I'm sorry. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. Approval subject to the following conditions. Number 1, the short-term rental shall be limited to Thursday through Sunday. No day rental shall be permitted. Number 2, there shall be no separate rental of crafting machines, sewing machines, or long-arm quilting machines, or sales of crafting supplies or other goods and/or merchandise. Number 3, there must be a designated coordinator on site who is responsible for compliance with rules proposed by the applicant for each short-term rental. Number 4, the applicant or an employee of the applicant must be available during the operation of the short-term rental, who shall regularly monitor the retreat. Number 5, each guest must agree in writing to the quote-unquote rules proposed by the applicant as follows. A, no open fires in the home, including candles. B, no swimming after 9 p.m. C, no outside visitors. D, all guests must be COVID-19 vaccinated and show proof thereof. E, no hard liquor. F, no retail sales or instructional classes. G, no business of any kind conducted on the premises. These rules are incorporated into the conditions of approval. There shall be no exterior lighting other than what is normal and customary for a single-family home. There shall be no manufacturing and mass production and/or sale of crafts. There shall be no classes offered or permitted as part of the short-term rental. There shall be no signage other than a house number sign. The number of guests shall be limited to 10, inclusive of the designated coordinator. Number 11, off-site parking will be provided for 10 automobiles. No on-street parking will be permitted. Number 12, appropriate privacy fencing
Wait a
shall...
minute. Point 11, it's not off-site, it's off-street. I'm sorry.
Mine says off-site parking. No on-street parking shall be permitted. Do you want me to read that again?
I'm sorry.
Point,
I'm sorry. It should be on-site parking will be provided for 10 automobiles. No off-street parking will be permitted. It's backwards. My apologies.
I will reread that, number 11. Off-site parking will be provided for 10 automobiles. No off-street parking will be permitted. Number 12, appropriate privacy fencing shall be installed to shield the parking area from the neighboring properties. Number 13, if the applicant installs a pool, a privacy fence shall also be installed as part of the mandated code requiring fencing. Number 14, the property will be landscaped in accordance with the general standards of the neighboring properties. Number 15, in terms of the actual development of the property, all stormwater runoff will be managed on-site in accordance with the stormwater management plan as prepared, submitted, and approved in full conformance with the Hanover Borough Stormwater Management Ordinance. Once installed, if proposed control measures do not fully mitigate the impact of increased stormwater runoff, meaning rate and volume from the property, it should be incumbent upon the owner to develop refinements or alternative systems to ensure the mitigation of off-site adverse drainage impacts. Number 16, if and when the property or Laura Cecere Hype's ownership interest in 213 Primrose LLC is sold or transferred to a third party, this conditional use approval shall terminate and the property may not be operated as a short-term rental without further approval of the borough. Number 17, the applicant must comply with all local, state, and federal laws/regulations applicable to the applicant's use of the property. Number 18, the applicant shall secure and adhere to all applicable local, borough, and state permits. Given the proposed lot coverage as stated in applicant's Exhibit 10, the applicant must demonstrate actual compliance with the maximum lot coverage standard at the time of the application for a zoning permit/building permit/stormwater permit. And number 19, an initial inspection of the property shall be conducted by the borough prior to the first short-term rental and on an annual basis thereafter to assure compliance with the conditions of this approval. That would conclude my motion.
Thank you. Is there a second to the amended motion as just read?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Move forward.
I think this is a big mistake. Be on
Okay.
record having said that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll ask Secretary Felix to assist me in the roll calling of the vote.
Mr. Fuentes?
You would call me for a story.
Sorry.
I've got the opportunity to read a lot about this, and I still have certain things that I feel that are at question. So at this point, I was going to abstain from voting because I have that option, but I feel like I'm here to make a decision. It seems like this has gone on for quite some time now, but at this point, I'll have to say nay.
Mrs. Funk?
Ethically and morally, I have to say no.
Mr. Greenholdt?
Yes.
Mrs. Greenholdt?
Yes.
Mr. Hickford?
Four.
Mr. Lockard?
No.
Mr. Ricart?
Four.
Mr. Rowland?
Absolutely against.
Dr. Rupp?
Yes.
We have 5 in favor of and 4 against, so the motion passes.
Okay, I believe the last item of business would be adjournment. Is there a motion therefore?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.